Hey family.
Y'all, we having some technical difficulties, but we gonna get through this. Hey family, welcome back to my channel. Oh my god, y'all know what I sound like when I said that. Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god.
Oh my god, what is that? Oh my god, what is that?
So let's just get into why you're here. You seen the title and you was like, ooh, let me see. So these are the brows. This is what they're looking like. It's okay, we're gonna tuck that in because we're looking crazy. Man, all these technical difficulties. This freaking bun finna fall off my doggone head. Y'all know how long I've been trying to film this video and it's always something. All right, we can work with this. So yeah, y'all, those are my eyebrows. Don't they look good, y'all? They look so good. Like, I have on some lip gloss, but there is no other makeup on my face besides that. Ain't that crazy? I wanted to film this video because, you know, I'm really active on my Instagram, and I knew that one, the lady I went to, she was on Instagram, so she posted some photos and videos. So did I, and of course folks were asking all these questions, and I'm like, eventually I'm going to film the video talking about my whole experience with getting my eyebrows tattooed, but I needed to wait for them to heal because baby, that process ain't cute. So yeah, I got my eyebrows tattooed, and I've been wanting to do this for years. Anything that I'm ever going to do to my body, I always take a very long time doing research, comparisons, like all the things, because I just feel like if I'm going to mess with my body and it's going to be a permanent change to me, then I just need to make sure like I'm in the right place. And as an Aries, I can be quite impulsive, and I'm just like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, oh, I want to go here, I want to do that, and it's not always the smartest thing. So with something as permanent as a tattoo and it's on my face, I thought a long time about this, but I did not think a long time about the person that I went to, and that speaks to her confidence and her immense talent. I don't know if you guys ever noticed, but when I come on camera with no makeup, I really never had, you know, defined eyebrows. It was just not a thing. My mom has really light eyebrows, so does my father. Who was that? It was just, you know, in the cards for me not to have very thick eyebrows. It wasn't like a big thing for me. It wasn't a showstopper. I didn't feel any less confident because I didn't have brows. The honest reason is just that you can wake up and go, and or when you're doing makeup, it cuts that time in half, and that just speaks to our generation and where we are at right now. So some people may say it's vain, call it what you want, but so now let's talk about microblading and what I have on my face, which is ombre powder brows. So ombre powder brows look more like what we do when we do our makeup. When you take a pencil and, you know, you do the line on the bottom, line on the top, you shade it in. Microblading is when you have the individual strokes, when you have a line all across that mimics actual hair-like features on your face. And ombre powder brows are like a gradient. They're like shading in, so they get a little, they're darker on the tips and they get a little lighter as they come to the front of your brow. The reason I ended up settling on ombre brows was because, you know, reading through, you know, the frequently asked questions, and it's not just on the lady I chose on her website, it was, you know, just general knowledge, that it's kind of the service that you get should be more so based on your skin type. Now microblading, I wanted it because when I tell y'all, her pictures were fire. Her clients look beautiful, but I knew that I could not get that if I'm going to pay all this money, because I have oily skin. I have oily combo skin, mostly oily, especially in the brow areas. My skin is oily right there. So if you get microblading, the individual hair strokes, which tends to happen over time, you know, they'll look like hair strokes in the beginning, but over time, the oils from your skin seep out, mix with the ink, and it blurs out those lines. So instead of them remaining like fresh, new, fresh hair strokes, they start to blend together and turn into ombre brows anyway. So I get there, we sit on a table, and the sessions usually run from about, it can run from like 1 to 3 hours, right? We start talking, you know, I tell her kind of what I want. I didn't really show her any pictures. I wanted to, but I just didn't, because I'm like, all her people up until now, she's done a great job on. So I'm gonna let the artist be the artist. But you know, I explained to her, you know, I want light, I want natural, I don't want big blocky, I want a gradient, you know, I want it to be, you know, not in your face. I wanted to like naturally where it follows my natural brow bone. So the majority of the session is actually her talking to you about what you want, and then you lay down on a table and she does the mapping, you know how people measure out where your brow should end, where they should start, middle, all those kind of things. She did all of that. Mapped it out to make sure they were symmetrical. It was immaculate. She took her time. She talked me through it. I couldn't have imagined an easier procedure ever. And so I'm laying there, and I'm not even really nervous anymore at this point, because just her confidence and her talking me through everything. And she showed me the mirror several times. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Should I take it down? Is this too high? Like, there was no way that I was not going to be okay with how my brows looked, because she was just making sure, hey, I'm not going to just throw anything on your face. I want to make sure you're okay. So she ended up doing the outline. She colored them in. She was like, it'll look something like this. And I was like, girl, let's go for it. But I didn't mention ombre brows, they use a gun.
Wait a minute. It's a chopper. It's a chopper.
With like needles, they do the shading, kind of like with tattooing. With microblading, there's a blade, and they literally make the lines into your skin. Now, when I was doing my research, ombre causes less trauma on the skin because it's not going as deep compared to microblading, where it's like actually cutting deeper into the skin because it has to deposit the ink. And so I kind of felt better with that. Everything was stacked up against me to get microblading, and she, you know, of course she was like, if you want it, you can get it. She said, but let me show you. She herself has oily skin, and she got microblading, and she, you know, combed down her brow hair where I can see the ink in her skin, and she was like, but look, you can only see like 2 strokes here in the beginning, because I did the microblading because I like the look, and then over time it all like melted together like this. She said, because the oil in my skin was like, sis, nah. So once I saw that, it made me feel better about, Shenika, if you're going to spend all this money, then you might as well just get a procedure that's going to, you know, benefit you in the long run, and you're still going to look great. So once she was finished with the mapping, then she started the process of tattooing. So she does the outline, and I was like, oh my god, is it going to hurt? Am I going to cry? She was like, you're going to be fine, you're going to be fine. So she did the outline, and I was like, oh, it's not bad. So she just does the, you know, the way we take a eyebrow pencil, draw on the bottom, draw on the top, boom. That's what she did for the outline. And then after that, she puts numbing cream on. The numbing cream sits there, and she wipes it off, and then she'll go over and she just starts shading, and you cannot feel a thing. When I tell, I get that I have a high pain tolerance, right, y'all? So when she started, and I was like, are you doing it? Because I felt her hand moving across my face like this, and she was like, yep, I'm tattooing your face. I couldn't feel it, y'all, and I was about to fall asleep. I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So she's literally just going and going, and I cannot feel the needle. I can't feel anything, y'all. It was so great. It was so much better than I had expected, because when I tell you I was genuinely nervous at first about the pain, it was great. So I literally started like dozing off, because I'm just like, it's not even that bad, and the numbing cream doesn't last that long. So once it starts to wear off, she's like, just let me know, and then I'll put it back on there, and then she'll go over to the other brow and start working on that one. And probably about the second time, she was like, yeah, your skin's not really picking up the ink, you know, as well. So she had to go over it a couple more times. So I was getting worried about that, because I'm like, well, once my brows heal and things like that, are they going to be okay? Is the color going to take? What she ended up doing was the custom color that we had made it first, to make sure my brows were brown and, you know, not too dark. She just took 1 drop of black and she dropped it in there, and then when she went over, she said it started to take. So she's not sure if that was, you know, adding a drop of black, or if that was just by the 3rd, you know, pass, my brows were ready to, you know, deposit the color. She got them done, and I opened my eyes, and I legit almost cried, y'all. I was in love, because it was like brows were on my face. My face wasn't, you know, in any pain. It was like slightly red, but obviously because there was a needle going in, but it wasn't red where I was like crying.
Like, I'm not gonna cry. I love them. You're so great at what you do.
Thank you.
These are beautiful.
So that was November 21st. Today is December 13th, I think. So it was about literally 3 weeks ago yesterday since I've went in and got my brows done. Now what happened after that, I'm going to insert some pictures here. You know, my brows were, you know, they were dark, of course, because it was a fresh tattoo. And the way it happens is they get a little bit darker a couple of days after, and then once they get darker, then they start to peel. And you're not supposed to get them wet, you're not supposed to touch them, you just let them be. You know, she gave me some visors. She put the visors on your face to keep the water, you know, from hitting your face. But to prevent any of that, I just ended up taking baths, because I'm like, there's no way that I'm gonna waste this money and get these brows wet and mess them up. So I ended up not even getting them wet for a full 3 weeks. And I texted her yesterday actually, and I was like, hey girl, can I wash my face fully yet? And she was like, yeah, you're fine, your peeling is done. So she said, you're just not supposed to get your face wet or get your brows wet while they're still peeling, which is understandable. But for me, I was just trying to be extra cautious and careful, because I wasn't about to waste no money. So the peeling probably lasted maybe about a good week or so. I think it started maybe 3 or 4 days after I got them done. Over Thanksgiving, my brows had started to peel. It was like one big block, and then you could start seeing cracks in them. And then they started to peel a little bit, but never to the point where I was like, oh my God, I can't even believe it. If you go back and look at the Thanksgiving vlog, my eyebrows were done in that vlog. So you can tell, you can see there. So let's get into all the questions you probably have to ask. So why did I do it? So I was just tired of, like, you know, wiping them off. I was tired of drawing them and buying eyebrow pencils, and plus I just wanted brows. The way y'all be waking up and have eyebrows on y'all face and y'all going to get them waxed, I didn't know what that was like, because my hair was so light. Like, I didn't get my brows waxed. I didn't get them done because there was nothing to get done. How much did I pay? I paid $550 for my brows. Now I know you're probably like, what? I told you now, I've done research for at least 3 years. Every time I've looked into someone in this area, it's never been that affordable. Like, it's always at least $1,000. That is a great deal for the service that you get. The next question that a lot of folks have is, how long does it last? 1 to 3 years, y'all. And that's all depending on how well you take care of them. So for oily skin folks, you know, we just have to be a little bit more careful, because we already have the oils working against us. So here's a recap. What I got Ombré powder brows. They are done with a small gun, and it's shading. Lighter in the front, and it gets darker on the tip. It takes about a little less than 2 weeks of full healing. The session is like 2 to 3 hours, but the majority of it is her talking to you. It's like your consultation, and it's her mapping out your face and seeing how the brows fit and how you like them. The actual tattooing part maybe took an hour. I hope I covered everything, y'all. I'm kind of really just talking through my memory, and I have a couple of notes right here, but I don't know everything you guys may want to know. So hopefully I addressed everything in this video. Like I said, it was a great process. You do have to go back for a touch-up. Well, you don't have to go back, but it's recommended that you go back for a touch-up, because the first time it's like kind of laying the foundation, right? And then you go back for the touch-up, so when the flaking and the scabbing is done, if there are any gaps, if you need to make it a little darker on the tail, if you need to do some corrective, if one arch is higher or lower than the other, you know, you have to go back in for those finishing touches. But I feel like if you spend all that money initially, then you just might as well do the little maintenance that you need to do to make sure they last you as long as you want them to last. Can't believe I've waited this long, but I'm glad I did, because I just feel more confident in my decision now for waiting and finding the right person. If you have any questions, let me know. Just drop them down below in the comments box. I'm gonna try and put all the details that I would want to know down in the description box. I'll even put, you know, the lady I went to, how much it cost, the service I got. I'll put her website down there. So as always, guys, thank you so much for supporting me. Love on purpose. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.